AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Tumala and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will certainly help you to crack prelims and mains examinations because throughout my session I would be emphasizing on keywords and key phrases, and these keywords and the key phrases will certainly help you to have an edge over others in the prelims as well as mains examinations, and you will have a better understanding in regards to the factual, analytical and conceptual question in regards to the prelims, and in regards to the mains it will be certainly useful for you in regards to the answer writing. And when we are talking about the answer writing, your answers would be precise and concise once you get into the mode of imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer, that is in the mains examinations. Thereby you will score higher marks in the prelims as well as mains examination, and this session will be helpful for you for both 2020 prelims and mains and also 2021 prelims and mains examinations. And this session is in regards to the daily news analysis, that is DNA of 25th September 2020 of the Hindu newspaper. And the quote of the day is: success is sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. So we might, or many of them, think that success means you need to have a strenuous efforts or you need to put in strenuous efforts. No, even a small efforts which are consistent and which are repeated day in day out will definitely bear you success. So success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And before I get into the daily news analysis, I would say a very good morning to all, to one and all who are in the live and also in the live chat. Good morning to all, and then good morning to D. Suvarna, Satya Kola, Ramkumar, Ramavat, Rajesh, all. A warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis. And now we'll get into the topic, that is India-Pak trade charges at SAARC and CICA meets. So these are the two keywords which you need to focus, which are very important because we need to look at it as a IR point of view, international relations, again in regards to the regional groupings. We need to focus this as a regional groupings, again IR dynamic part, that is for the current affairs. So definitely this will be an useful information. And before once again I start, Kalyan Chakravarti and then Rayala Mastanwali has also joined. Warm welcome to both of you. And here in this regards, there was the foreign ministers level meeting has taken place. Foreign ministers meeting have taken place in regards to the SAARC, that is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and that which is 8 nation member, and the other one that is in regards to the meeting which has taken place with the 27 nation, that is SICA or Confederation on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia. So these two are the regional groupings which are really important and critical information for you all for the prelims and mains UPSC perspective. And in this meeting, what is the outcome is that India and Pakistan have crossed swords. That means definitely there was a kind of situation wherein both the countries or foreign ministers have raised concerns about each other or on the other countries. India raising the concern on Pakistan in regards to making sure that it encourages, supports, it makes sure that it is also nurturing terrorism, and it is making sure that it is sending the or creating some problems in India. So wherein again Pakistan is raising against India in regards to the humanitarian crisis in Jammu and Kashmir. So definitely there is issues in regards to the Article 370 which has been abrogated by India on August 4, 2019. So definitely India and Pakistan have raised concerns and they have crossed swords in the sense like literally they have had issues vocally. That means having a heated argument between India and Pakistan, and both have raised their issues in regards to terrorism and Jammu and Kashmir. So India is raising the issue in regards to terrorism, and then undoubtedly Pakistan is raising the concern of Jammu and Kashmir, that is humanitarian crisis in Jammu and Kashmir. And the other one which is really important is the SAARC nation, 8 nation, and then the SICA, that is Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measure in Asia, is the 27 nation. And while speaking at the South Asian meeting, our Foreign Minister or External Affairs Minister has made it very clear that, or he has called the entire SAARC members to collectively resolve to defeat the scourge of terrorism. So India is raising the concern, and India is making it very clear that it wanted the entire SAARC members to come together and then coordinate and then collectively resolve to fight against the terrorism and to defeat the terrorism, and also to defeat the forces which are actually nurturing, supporting and encouraging, which are nurturing, supporting and encouraging an environment of terror and conflict situations which are being prevailed in the Asia, in Asia. So definitely External Affairs Minister Jaishankar has made it very clear to all the SAARC members to fight against collectively for the forces, against the forces which nurture, support and encourage terrorism. And it also, he also made it very clear that the terrorism itself is impeding the objective of this SAARC. So definitely it is making the objective of the SAARC not to flourish, not to come up with a full potential, so that it can realize its total energy, it can realize its total efforts to put in, so that the entire South Asian Asia can really prosper. And there has to be a collective collaboration and prosperity across South Asia. So definitely here the point is, it is really important for prelims as well as mains examinations, because we are raising the concern in regards to the regional groupings, and then we are making it very clear that we wanted to defeat terrorism, and then we wanted to propagate peace and tranquility, or peace and friendship between all the countries in South Asia. And when we are talking about the 8 nation countries, the foreign ministers have met together and then they have discussed in regards to the SAARC, is that the countries of the SAARC nation, which are 8, are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. These are the 8 countries which are part of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. And this has taken place, at the SAARC nations and then SICA, we are raising the point, and then we are trying to directly say that it is Pakistan which is actually creating problems of terrorism across Indian borders. And we have seen what has happened in the past. If you are talking about this, this meet which has taken place in regards to the 8 nations SAARC summit, SAARC foreign ministers have met, and also the 27 nations have come together. Even though we had a crosswords or heated agreement or heated argument between both the countries, but still there was some kind of positiveness that none of the members from both the countries, that is India and Pakistan, did not move away from did not walk away from the meeting. But if you look at the previous instances, just couple of days back, or a couple of last week, it was in September 2020, the National Security Advisor, that is Ajit Doval, has walked out of a virtual meeting, that is of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, wherein there he has raised a concern that Pakistani counterpart have come up with their own map which included Indian territories into the Pakistan territory. So we have walked off. So this is what is the earlier situation which has prevailed between India and Pakistan whenever India and Pakistan is part of the virtual meetings, and this we have experienced in the scope. And then again, if you look at the 2019, the SAARC summit or the SAARC foreign ministers, which have met on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. Even there, Mr. Jaishankar and Mr. Qureshi from Pakistan have boycotted each other's speeches. So look at it again here, they are boycotted. So definitely we in 2020, National Security Advisor has walked out of the SCOS ministerial meeting, and then 2019 on the sidelines of UN General Assembly in New York. That is just exactly 1 year back. Both the countries have boycotted their speeches, and PM Narendra Modi has also refused to attend the 19th edition of the SAARC summit, which was supposed to take place in Islamabad in the year 2016, which India did not attend the 19th edition of the SAARC summit. So what is that we are trying to infer here is that in the year 2016, in the year 2019, and again in the year 2020 also, we did not have a real conducive atmosphere that India and Pakistan would have a discussion, not only bilaterally but also in the regional groupings and also in the multilateral meetings also on the sidelines of UN General Assembly. But what the meeting has taken place in regards to the foreign ministers of the SAARC countries and the SICA is comparatively a better outcome, comparing to the previous, that is what we have seen 2016, 2019 and 2020. Okay, Kalyan Chakravarti have joined. Madhu, Anil Kumar, Syed Anand, Kalyan Chakravarti, all of you very good morning. A warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And Kalyan Chakravarti says tranquility means what? So it is peace and tranquility. We wanted peace and friendship to take place. Calmness, tranquility, calm. Tranquility is calmness. So we wanted peace and friendship to prevail. And all the SAARC nations, including India and Pakistan, look at it. It's a positive outcome. It is a positive outcome out of the ministerial meet that all the SAARC nations, including India and Pakistan, have come together to build a common stand. They have come under a common stand that it is a need to cooperate for the pandemic like situation, that is coronavirus. So definitely it is that the SAARC nations have all come together to fight against COVID-19 pandemic, and India and also Pakistan have come together to accept for the need to cooperate the battling of the COVID-19. And our External Affairs Minister Jaishankar has listed a number of measures wherein India has contributed in the past for the South Asian Association Regional Cooperation, that is for the SAARC. So these are the 4 measures which India has taken initiative. That is very important. The SAARC Leaders Video Conference, COVID-19 Information and Exchange Platform, COINEX, COVID-19 Information Exchange Platform. And the third one is the SAARC Food Bank Mechanism. SAARC Food Bank Mechanism. And the fourth one is SAARC COVID-19 Emergency Fund. SAARC COVID-19 Emergency Fund, which has been initiated by India, and it has contributed initially $10 million for the essential drugs which are required to fight against or to battle against the coronavirus pandemic situation. And this is what is important. The measures are really important for the preliminary point of view, and also all the 4 measures. All the 4 measures are really important because what India has taken in initiative, because we are talking about regional grouping. Because we are talking about the regional grouping which will be part of the international relations. So please do understand, and then do make sure that you make a note of these 4 measures which India has come up or initiated to cooperate and battle against COVID-19 pandemic situation in coordination with the SAARC nations. Rajesh says built meaning where did I say built? Okay, I'll just check. Where did I say that built? Which topic was it? This first one itself, built. Okay. Okay, built a common. Okay, all SAARC nations, including India and Pakistan, built in the sense they have come up with a common stand, or they have made sure that they have formed, or they have agreed. You can take this. Built is they have agreed a common stand. That means everyone will come together. Everyone, all the 8 countries have agreed to come on a common stand. For what? For that there is a need to cooperate to battle against the COVID-19. Did you get it, Rajesh? I think Rajesh, a very good morning to you. Naresh, also a very good morning to you. Both of you, a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And definitely this is an useful information for prelims as well as mains examination. And now we'll look at the another news which talks about China refused plea. So here when we look at China has refused, but it has refused for the benefit of the country itself, for the India itself, for India itself. So what is that China has refused? China has refused to help the northeast insurgents. Insurgents are the one who are entering into India illegally, entering illegally, which is not legal. So here the news is about the Assam government has informed the UAPA tribunal. This is a keyword. UAPA tribunal is a keyword. So the Assam government has informed Unlawful Activities Prevention Act Tribunal. What did it inform the Assam government to UAPA? That there are various major extremist outfits, that is extremist groups or in the northeast who have contacted the Chinese authorities. Why did they contact the Chinese authorities? Because they wanted assistance. That means they wanted help in what? In fighting against India. So look at it. The extremist group of the northeastern part of India have contacted Chinese authorities for what? For help in fighting against India. This is what the Assam government has given, or it has given an affidavit, or it has presented a note to the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act Tribunal. Please do understand, this is important. And it also very clearly says that in that affidavit or in that report that China has refused. So when the extremist groups of northeastern states have approached the Chinese authorities or contacted the Chinese authorities for help to fight against India, Chinese have refused to provide any or to give any help directly or indirectly. This is a good news. This is a good news for India, because the way the LAC situation between India and China along the line of actual control which is happening, and now the news which is in regards to the Assam government informing the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act Tribunal, says that China has refused the extremist outfits of the Northeast to give assistance to fight against India directly or indirectly. So this is a good news. And affidavit also says that once the Chinese have refused, then the United Nations Liberation Front of West of Southeast Asia. This is again very important key phrase. Why I am saying this is important? This is important for mains examination, because of the internal security, because it will be very useful in internal security, which is part of GS paper 2 in the mains examination, internal security, as well as it will be useful for you in regards to the prelims for the current affairs also. So when Chinese have refused, so these groups, which is an alternative to United Nations Liberation Front of West of Southeast Asia, they have looked for establishing a nexus. So they wanted to have a coordination with Pakistan, so that Pakistan, that is ISI from Pakistan side, they would provide assistance to the extremist groups in northeast to fight against India. So definitely we know that Pakistan would be ready to support any organization or any outfit or any groups which would have some kind of enmity against India, or which they would wish to fight against India. So here, yes, there was Pakistan, that is ISI, which was ready to provide the assistance to all the outfits to fight against India, but the plan did not or could not be executed. The plan has been failed due to two main reasons. What are they? One is impeachment of Congo Cognac from the NSCN-K. That means they have removed the Congo Cognac person, the leader of NSCN-K, that is Nationalist Socialist Council of Nagaland, Kaplang. This is again an outfit. Fine. And the another reason is there was an attack on Taga camp in India and Myanmar by India and Myanmar army jointly. So these two actions have been the reasons that Pakistan, having a plan to support the extremist groups to fight against India, could not be executed. What? It was unsuccessful. Okay, before I get into the next slide, Madhu has joined. Shivakumar, all of you, very good morning once again. Gaul Naresh says we are heartily thankful to AKS and Yusuf. You are always welcome, and AKS IAS Academy will certainly provide you the best of the best information which is useful and required for UPSC prelims, mains, and also state public service commissions. You are always welcome. Kalyan Chakravarti says, please, plea meaning means illegal. Plea, where did I say plea? Okay, once again. Plea is, no, plea is like you are asking, you are requesting. Plea means you are requesting. Shivkumar says built. Okay, it is built. Kalyan Chakravarti, I really appreciate your way of teaching, sir. Okay, thank you very much, Kalyan Chakravarti. Thank you very much. And the Assam government, which has filed the affidavit, it has filed in the year in the month of May 2020, and it said that United Nations Liberation Front of West of Southeast Asia, that is UNLF WSEA, which is a Myanmar based conglomerate of banned outfits. So it is a group of banned outfits or banned groups, and which it is based on what? Myanmar country. So we have the northeastern states or the outfits in the northeastern states. They have link and they have the shelter in Myanmar. Few of them even in China. That is why India is worried about the neighboring countries of northeastern states, especially Myanmar and China, wherein these two countries would support financially and arms also, equipments, so that they would wage a war. That is, the banned outfits would wage a war against India. And along with this, the conglomerate of the banned outfits such as NSCN-K, that is Nationalist Socialist Council of Nagaland Kaplang, and the other one is ULFA I, that is United Liberation Front of Assam Independent, and the other one is NDFBS, that is National Democratic Front of Bodoland Suragwa, and the other one is KLO, that is Kamatpur Liberation Organizations. And all these outfits have taken a resolution to take an assistance or help from the third nation. It could be China or Pakistan. Why? To achieve their goal. What is their goal? To fight against India. And why these outfits? I am talking about this UNLF, WSCA, and then NSCNK, ULFA, and then NDFB, and then KLO. All these are important for preliminary examination in regards to the internal security or national security. For national security, based on that, this will be useful information, all the outfits in the preliminary examination. And this conglomerate, that is a group, has been formed in the year 2015, and the affidavit is not clear on when this, okay. And then tribunal which was constituted, that is the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, was constituted under. So you have a tribunal, that is UAPA tribunal. So this tribunal was created under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. And then our Union Home Minister has also banned the National Democratic Front of Bodoland, NDFB. This is what we are talking about, NDFB, National Democratic Front of Bodoland, in the year November 29 for 5 years. So all this information is very, very crucial for internal security or part of the national security and internal security for GS paper 3. Extremely sorry, for GS paper 3 it is useful. Shivakumar says please provide PDF. Okay, this you can definitely try to get it, but you can also go ahead with making a note, or just you can listen to it. Yeah. Naresh. Okay, now I'll get to the next topic, that is IAF brought uncertified UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle engines at an inflated price. Who is saying this? CAG is saying, that is Comptroller and Auditor General has come up with the report, and it has tabled the report in the Parliament. It has tabled the report in the Parliament, that is on September 23rd. September 23rd, 2020, it has tabled the report, and while it has tabled the report, it has recommended an investigation to be taken up. In what? Investigation in regards to the purchase of 5 unmanned aerial vehicle, which they have purchased the 5 unmanned aerial vehicle engines in the year 2010 by Indian Air Force. So there has to be a recommendation by CAG is to go ahead with the investigation in the purchase of the 5 unmanned aerial vehicle engines in the year 2010 by Indian Air Force, because the same engines were purchased by Defense DRDO again later on, that is after 2 years, but it was 1/3 of the price. Thereby it is very clear that the vendor, who is the vendor here? The vendor here is, that means who has supplied, is Israel Aircraft Industries Limited. So Israel Aircraft Industries Limited has been profited by 3.16 crore rupees. So that is what the report very clearly depicts, and it is recommending, CAG is recommending an investigation, and it is recommending that it fix the responsibility of the supply and acceptance, both supply and also acceptance. Please do look at here, not recommendation only in regards to the Indian Air Force, against Indian Air Force, but also the one who has supplied it, that is Israel Aircraft Industries Limited. So there has to be a fixing of responsibility for both the supply and the acceptance, that is who has received, that is who have purchased. And IAI, Israel Aircraft Industries, have gained benefit of 3.16 crore when it supplied 5 UAV engines at 3 times the market price. That is what it is. So it has increased the prices, it has inflated the prices, and it has supplied to India, and then we have purchased. So there it comes the question that why the inflated one was purchased by Indian Air Force in the year 2010, and it has tabled the report in the parliament, and it says that the vendor has supplied uncertified engines. Supply uncertified engines, but when we have had the contract, the deal, when we have signed the deal or the contract, we have signed it for certified engines. We have signed it for, contract was for certified engines, but the supply we have got it is the uncertified engine. This is the main responsibility, or the fixing of the responsibility, what is been recommended by the Comptroller and Auditor General. And in the March 2010, the Israel Aircraft Industries Limited of Israel had supplied the spare parts of Heron UAE, that is unmanned aerial vehicle. The name of the unmanned aerial vehicle, this is Heron, HERON, and this cost almost 9.7 crore rupees, and which included a supply of 5 Rotox 91443 engines. So these are the engines which are fitted for UAE, that is Heron, unmanned aerial vehicle Heron. The engine which is fitted is Rotox or Rotax 914, and when we look at it, 914F is a certified engine, but 914UL is a certified engine. And what engine we have got for the UAE unmanned aerial vehicle Heron, for this one the engine used is, or we got, is 914UL, which is uncertified. And these Rotox engines which are used in the Herons are manufactured by Austrian company. Again, this is useful information or the critical information for preliminary. So this is unmanned aerial vehicle which is Heron, and the engine which is used is Rotax engine. This is the engine which is used in. So this is again very crucial information for the preliminary examination point of view. And the another news is government extends IBC pause by 3 months. So we know that Insolvency Bankruptcy Code 2020 bill was passed in both the houses, and when it has passed in both the houses, the main amendment which was done in the bill 2020, that is IBC bill 2020, was that the insolvency proceedings they have extended for 6 months. In the bill 2020, they have extended for 6 months, and it was from 25th March till September 24th, that is yesterday 2020, that the initiation of the insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings which will be taken up by the creditors against the lenders, they have given a relief for 6 months in IBC bill 2020. Please do understand, this is crucial information. In IBC bill 2020, there was a relaxation of 6 months for the insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings to be initiated by the creditors against the debtors, or else who have taken the loans but unable to repay the loans because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation and because of the kind of economic activity damage which has taken place. And it was ended, that is yesterday, September 24, 2020. Now why it is in news, why we are discussing this, is government extends the IBC, that is a relief, to initiate the proceedings. Which proceedings? Insolvency proceedings, for another 3 months. That is from September, it will be October, November, December. This is the main information. So here the government of India has gone ahead with 3 more months for relief or the invocation, that is initiating of the insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings. And these are against whom? these are against the firms or the companies who are defaulters. Defaulters in the sense who are unable to repay the amount, that is the loan amount, in a particular specific time. If they are not paying it, then they are defaulters. Once they are defaulters, slowly they will gradually move from defaulters to non-performing assets, NPA, non-performing assets. And once they are into this, slowly the insolvency and bankruptcy code or bill or act can be initiated, and then what the assets they have, the assets, it can be liquidated in the sense they can sell, that is the government of India or the lenders or the banks who have given loans to the companies, firms who haven't paid, who are the defaulters. The insolvency and the bankruptcy act can be invoked, and then later on their assets of the firms can be liquidated in the sense it can be sold, and that amount can be again repaid as the part of the loan repayment. So that is the background I am giving here entire. So it was, as I said, it was first suspended for 6 months because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, the national lockdown, which was announced in March, that is March 25th, but it was extended till 24th, and on 24th, yesterday, September 24th, 2020, the Corporate Affairs Ministry has notified that another 3 months extension will be provided for the firms, that the banks or the lenders will not initiate the invocation of the insolvency and the bankruptcy proceedings. And the government of India has also suspended the extension of sections 7, 9 and 10 of the IBC, so that the firms will have some kind of breathing space from relief from the financial stress because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So this is again very useful from economy point of view. Again, when we are talking about in regards to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Bill 2020. So definitely we had yesterday, we have discussed day before yesterday in regards to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and now again we have looked at what the notification or another extension has been provided by the Corporate Affairs Ministry. And then there is another news which talks about Harley Sheds India factory. So you have the bike. It is a bike. Harley Davidson is a bike. So this company, Harley Davidson company, which used to or which had its sales and manufacturing operations in India. It was in Bawal in Haryana and Gurgaon in Haryana. So because of a global strategic restructuring plan, this is a keyword, the Harley Davidson company has taken the decision to stop or discontinue the sales and manufacturing operations in India, and they are now shredding, or they have removed 70 jobs in the country who are part of the Harley Davidson. And they have done all this because of the global strategic restructure plan, or it is the Harley Davidson's global strategic restructuring plan, and that is called as the rewire. This is called as rewire. This is a keyword for the preliminary examination point of view. And they have closed the manufacturing facilities in Bawal, that is in Haryana, and Gurgaon in US, which is Harley Davidson is US motorcycle major company, US, and Harley Davidson's Exit is one of the world's largest two-wheelers, and definitely now it has discontinued its sales and manufacturing because it found that it is very hard for any takers for the Harley Davidson bikes in India. That is why they have said that they have planned to discontinue the sales and manufacturing in India. And this US company's decision to exit also undermines. This is a keyword. Why it undermines? because government of India is or has come up with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. This is in regards to the self-sufficiency or self-reliant. Fine. And in that process, India has encouraged the Indian or indigenous manufacturing units, as well as it also wanted to attract the foreign investors or the global manufacturers. Fine. Which the foreign investors which were exiting from China, so India did try to attract or create confidence that they come and invest in India. But if you look at the US company Harley Davidson decision to exit its manufacturing, it undermines, definitely it undermines the government efforts. Government is putting in efforts to attract and retain, the global manufacturers. Not only that, it is wanting the foreign investors to come and invest in India. But at this situation, when the US company is moving out, that is Harley Davidson company is moving out, so that is the cause of concern. That is the cause of concern for the initiative taken by the government, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme, which is self-reliant. So this is very, very important for the preliminary and a conceptual understanding. When India is striving very hard to attract and create confidence for the foreign investors to come and invest in India, the one who are exiting from China. But look at it, the one who is in India, US company, bike company Harley Davidson has taken the decision to exit its sales and manufacturing from India is the worrying factor. Undermines is, it is worrying. It is worrying. It is a worrying factor. And if you look at the other side of it, is not only this Harley Davidson had this intention or the decision, but in 2017 also General Motors, they have stopped their domestic sales and they have stopped their manufacturing exports from India by the end of 2020. So General Motors, GM have also, we have experienced the same kind of scenario from the General Motors in India in 2017. And in 2019 again the Ford Motor Company, they have ceased or stopped the independent operation. They have stopped the independent operations in India, and then later on they have entered into the joint venture with the Mahindra and Mahindra in India. So definitely the Ford Motor Company also found that it was not viable to do business in India independently. That is why they stopped doing independent operations in India and they have entered into the joint venture with Mahindra and Mahindra. So definitely the foreign manufacturers or global manufacturers are really feeling the heat. We have seen it in the past, 2017 General Motors, 2019 Ford Motors, and now US company, bike company Harley Davidson. So this is a chronology which you need to follow, so that how the global manufacturers are moving out of India due to various reasons. So this is Harley Davidson bike. Very pretty, very nice. Hope you all will have one and even I will have one. Okay, no doubt they are pulled out of it, but still we can wait sometime later. Again, they would start their operations in India, and when we can also purchase it. And this was in regards to the international relations. Again, in regards to the regional groupings, we have looked at, which is very important for preliminary examination current affairs point of view. And this again in regards to the internal security or the national security. This is in regards to the defense. We have focused the kind of uncertified engine which was supplied rather than the contract which we had for the certified Rotax UAE engine. And this is in regards to the economy, which is in regards to insolvency and bankruptcy code bill or code bill 2020. and Harley Shirts India factory. This is again in regards to the economy, definitely no doubt about it, and focusing on the global manufacturers. Focusing on the global manufacturers, that we are wanting that Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme, that is self-reliant, would be a successful one, but it is a worrisome because now the Harley Davidson US bike company has decided to shut down or move away its sales and manufacturing from Haryana. And I would say that with great determination, this session was helpful, informative, both for prelims and mains examinations to you all. And then I would say a big thank you and a good luck to you all in regards to your preparation. And then before you sign off, do like the video, share the video, and subscribe the video. And then also visit AKS IAS Academy website, and then subscribe to Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. See you tomorrow again at 7:30 a.m. for the daily news analysis. Do stick to the consistency in your preparation, and then do fix to your schedule, and then please do take care of your physical health and mental health so that you can achieve your success without much of discomfort. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.